What do Vash the Stampede, Ichigo Kurosaki, and Lelouch Lamperouge have in common? Besides being three of the most badass characters in anime, not much, but they are all voiced by the same man, a martial artist turned actor named Johnny Yong Bosch. It's not a name that most people are familiar with, unless they are a huge fan of the Power Rangers, but if you watch a lot of dubbed anime, then you'll see his name pop up in the end credits quite a lot. He's become quite the prolific voice actor in the anime industry, much like Mel Blanc, June Foray, and Cree Summer have been to American cartoons. If this is your first time hearing about him, then you're welcome, because we're going to talk about Johnny Yong Bosch and how his voice helped popularize anime around the world. While the small town of Garland, Texas is the home of NBA greats like Mookie Blaylock and Ricky Pierce, a young John J. Bosch was much more interested in imitating legendary martial artists like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. He then studied Kung Fu throughout his teenage years, but never did he think he would go down an acting path. It wasn't until he was 18 years old when his sensei suggested he audition for an opening on the popular TV show called The Power Rangers. Now, why would a kid's TV juggernaut like that have an opening in the first place, you ask? Well, midway through the second season, Walter Emmanuel Jones, the original Black Ranger, was written out of the show due to a contract dispute. This gave way to young John's first acting role as the shy, calm, and spiritual Adam Park. At the request of Saban Entertainment, Bosch also had to change his name to something more Asian sounding, and the stage name Johnny Yong Bosch was born. I guess being named after the first Supreme Court Chief Justice wouldn't be the catchiest name in Hollywood, but I digress. Bosch's Adam Park may have lacked the natural charisma of Jones's Zack Taylor, but he was a solid successor and is a much beloved character in the franchise. He not only finished the 3 seasons of the original series, but starred in the 1995 feature film Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. He then became the Green Ranger in Power Rangers Zeo, the 1997 film Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, and then halfway throughout Power Rangers Turbo series until he and the rest of the cast was replaced unawares. Besides a guest appearance in Power Rangers in Space, his brief acting career seemed to be in the rearview mirror, but a chance encounter enabled him to enter an emerging industry in Hollywood, anime. He was dubbing over some lines for a film because of an audio issue, and a producer overheard him and suggested he should audition for some little Japanese cartoon called Trigun. A few weeks later, Bosch got the role of the main character, Vash the Stampede, and if you're a part of the anime community, then there's a good chance you already know how well the role went for him. His portrayal of the humanoid typhoon garnered critical acclaim and opened a lot of doors, like his next gig as Shotaro Kaneda, the brash and carefree hero of the cyberpunk classic Akira. In the 2000s, Bosch continued to get big roles seemingly every year from different anime like Kiba in Wolf's Rain, Ariel Hiragizawa in the Cardcaptor Sakura movie The Sealed Card, and Takaki Tono in 5 centimeters per second. 2006 was a big year for him because he not only got the role of Renton Thurston in the beloved sci-fi cult series Eureka 7, but also Bleach's Ichigo Kurosaki. Now, if you were one of the cool kids who paid no attention to weeb culture, then you wouldn't know that Bleach was one of the most successful anime series at that time and was one of the big 3 of Shonen Jump for quite some time. Bleach is still very popular to this day, and the return of the anime adapting the final arc, the Thousand Year Blood War, is definitely reminding fans who fell out why that's the case. It's the amazing fights, the coolest strip, the killer music, and the baddest characters, led by Bosch's Ichigo. Da 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 da. Since then, Bosch would just get more and more and more gigs of anime, like Itsuki Koizumi and Haruhi Suzumiya, Lelouch Lamperouge and Code Geass, Izaya Orihara and Durarara, Jonathan Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and even Brock in Pokemon Origins. He was voicing characters in video games too, especially from JRPG franchises like Dot Hack, Danganronpa, and Dissidia. He still found time to act in live-action roles like the 2006 movie Devon's Ghost, Legend of the Bloody Boy, which he not only co-starred with former Power Rangers alum Karen Ashley, but also co-directed. He was Master Shin in the Nickelodeon superhero sitcom Super Ninjas. He even returned as Adam Park in a couple episodes of Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, and more recently the 2023 Netflix movie Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always. Sure, none of these scream out Oscar-worthy, but still, how he found time to do all of this, I'll never know. In addition to voicing at this point hundreds of characters, he also started 2 rock bands, iShine and Where Giants Fall. Follow these bands under Edge Rock, which I never even heard of until now, but it's basically a pop-punk, post-grunge hybrid known for dark lyrics and electronic instruments like synthesizers. In fact, 9 Inch Nails and Tool are the best-known bands of this style. Like the great Mel Blanc, Bosch's body of work at this stage of his career is definitely impressive, not just because of the sheer number of roles, but the types of roles he gets. Most of these are not just random Joe Schmo itty-bitty parts, but major protagonists, antagonists, and even supporting characters from their respective series. Not to mention, these franchises continue to make more seasons and films, which he returns for. Some longer than ever, like Bleach that returned in 2022 after 8 years, and Trigun Stampede, which returned with a remake this year after 23 years. One thing I find truly fascinating is how similar he sounds with the many characters he's voiced. Whether it's the short-tempered Ichigo Kurosaki or the shy Renton Thurston, his voice excellently portrays the personalities of these characters without sounding any different. Check out this video from GenerationWest that showcases audio snippets of some of the many characters Bosch voiced throughout his illustrious career, and you'll recognize how similar many of them sound while still feeling different. Link is in the description. Bosch has won a few awards with his voice acting at the BTVAs and was even nominated for Best English Voice Acting Performance for his role of Bam in The Tower of God at the Crunchyroll Awards, but his impact in the anime community is by far and away his greatest prize. You can look all throughout Reddit and not find one bad comment about Johnny Yong Bosch, and it's because he puts his emotion into every role and has the range to play any kind of character. We all collectively agree how beloved Bosch is in the community. Even if you didn't necessarily know his name, you know his perfect anime voice. English dubs generally get a bad rap because voice actors find it difficult to capture the essence of these characters, but he makes it look so easy. His flawless voice acting makes many of these adaptations a solid watch, where some even prefer it to the original. He's literally opened the doors for the anime fans around the world because his smooth voice acting has made anime more palatable, and it's why the anime industry always knows who to call when they want someone to adapt a character for their show. Johnny Yong Bosch is not a name that is super well known in Hollywood, but his voice sure is. His exceptional talent has brought to life some of the most recognizable characters in the anime community. It's difficult to find anyone who has single-handedly positively contributed to the industry when it comes to voice acting more than him. Though you may not have known who this guy was before, now I can guarantee that the name Johnny Yong Bosch will now forever live rent-free in your memory. Now if you got anything to say, I'd love to hear it and talk some more about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. You can send me an email, you can find me on Twitter or Facebook. Oh, and one more thing. If you like what you're watching, feel free to subscribe by clicking that platypus to keep up with my latest videos. Thanks for watching, and stay nerdious.